שיר למעלות, תישא עיניי אל ההרים, מאין יבוא עזרי, עזרי מעין.
Bishut Moray Rabotai, with the permission of Hashem, I would like to wish to all of you Chag Sameach. You know, I would like to tell you that Pesach and Shavuot, they are only one holiday. They are not two holidays. All my life, I was asking a question, and I promise you, this is the first time that I have an answer. All my life, I was thinking about what the Torah said. The Torah said you have to go to Yerushalayim 3 times a year. Pesach, Shavuot, and Sukkot. You have to know something. Today, we have, Baruch Hashem, we have cars, there is planes, there is there is trains. Today you can travel from coast to coast, and you can go to Australia from Israel, and you arrive there a few hours later. Just imagine 3,000 years ago to go from Tveria or Bet Shan to Jerusalem by horse or walk. People used to walk. The Torah mentioned Shalosh Pa'amim. We call it Shalosh Regalim. The 3 holidays, we call them like the foot. That means that people used to walk from their place to Yerushalayim. Just imagine, you live in Bet Shan, Kiryat Shmona, you live in Eilat, you live in Tzfat, you go to Yerushalayim on a horse, or on a donkey, or you walk with all your family, and you have to take with you food, and a lot of things. Just imagine how long would it take? Maybe 1 week. They stay in Yerushalayim 1 week. Then they come back home another week. Then they have to go back and Shavuot to Yerushalayim. I mean, another week. That means how long is they going to stay in their home? Why Hashem did that, what it is the purpose of all this? I mean, Hashem is nice. Hashem knows there is a family. It's so short to go to Yerushalayim on Pesach, to do there the sacrifice of Pesach, and then you have to come back home and to stay how long? 1 week. Then you have to go. I mean, it's too much to ask from Jewish people. That make the religion very, very, very hard to do. Well, today there is no Yerushalayim today. Today we don't have Beit HaMikdash. Today we spend Pesach home. We spend Shavuot home. We spend Sukkot home. And if you want to travel to Yerushalayim, to Israel, we take the plane. A few hours we are there. So in a few hours we are back. It's a holiday. But before, do you call that a holiday? Do you call that a rest? So why Hashem? I mean, why Hashem did all this? Why? And then, you have to count the Sfirat HaOmer. You have to count the days. When you count something that makes you excited, it makes you very, very excited. Why? Torah. I mean, it's the wedding between Hashem and Am Yisrael. It's Torah. I mean, it's not simple as you think. It's very, very difficult. It's very, very hard. You understand? So today is easy. Everything is easy today. Everything today. Sometimes we make our religion difficult, but in our generation, we never had in our life such a privilege that today we have everything. We have Jewish schools, we have kosher food, we have mikvaot, we have synagogues, we have yeshivot, kolilim, and all the time we build other synagogues and we carry on building them. And Baruch Hashem today, kosher food, everything, it's so easy today. I remember in Essaouira, in Morocco, there were 22,000 Jews. We only had 2 mikvaot. And a lot of women used to go to the sea to do the tibila. And in the winter it's very cold, very windy in Essaouira. Today you have first-class mikvaot. I saw a mikveh that cost $10 million. We have a beautiful mikveh for women in Lyon, in France. 15 years ago, I built it. At that time, it cost me $1 million. At that time, it was too much. It was a big amount, a beautiful mikveh for women. Today, it's Jewish life. It's easy to do it, but we make it harder. You travel, you go to take a plane, you have kosher food. Baruch Hashem, today, if you want, everything is in your hand today. But a few thousand years ago, things were so difficult. Very, very difficult. Not easy. Today, to do Shemitah, it's not hard as before. Today, even if you do Shemitah, okay, you have enough money to buy food. But at the time, when all Israel did Shemitah, that during 1 year they don't work their land, it was a catastrophe, it was terrible. You must have a big iman on Hashem that Hashem will give you all what you need. It's not, and just imagine today, Baruch Hashem, all the yeshivot, they have air conditioner today. My yeshiva in Ashdod, they are, the food is first class, it's like a first class yeshiva today. Before, I remember in my time, when I was in the yeshiva 40 years ago, or 50 years ago, today I am 70, when I went to the yeshiva, I was 10-year-old, and I stayed in the yeshiva till the age of 20. I remember we didn't have the heat. In the winter, only 1 hour at night, we were freezing. We were waiting in the morning to go to the Beit HaMidrash, because the Beit HaMidrash, a lot of people there, so the Beit HaMidrash was warm. It was, and the summer, I promise you, it's impossible today to be in the Beit HaMidrash. You have 150 people studying Torah. Impossible to study Torah if there is no air conditioner. It's very hot. People will leave. They will not come. I remember last year in the college, because there was a problem with the air conditioner, they didn't come. They couldn't study. And on Shabbat, the synagogue, there is no air conditioner. They will not come because it's too hot. They are sweating. So how did it before? It was hard. Everything was hard before. There was no air conditioner, there was no heating, there was nothing. So my friend, I don't understand why Hashem, He make religion difficult. That we have to go to Yerushalayim 3 times a year. Understand Pesach. Understand Sukkot. 6 months later. But to go after Pesach to Yerushalayim again on Shavuot, it's terrible. The Torah said, 3 פעמים בשנה, 3 times a year, you have to go to Yerushalayim. When? When you have to go to Yerushalayim on the Pesach, you have to go to Yerushalayim on Shavuot, you have to go to Yerushalayim on Sukkot. Understand Pesach, okay. And 7 days, okay. Understand Shavuot, Sukkot, okay. But Shavuot, it's so short. Between Shavuot and Pesach, only 7 weeks. And if you do the calculation, as I told you, it's terrible. You have to leave 1 week before Pesach to stay in Yerushalayim another 7 days. Maybe it's 2 weeks. Then 1 week to go back home. It's 3 weeks. And then you have to come back to Yerushalayim for Shavuot. Another week, it's a month. So how long you stay home? Only 2 weeks. It's terrible. And then it will take you again 1 week to go back to home. So altogether, it's 5 weeks like that. I mean, can you imagine what it is 5 weeks? Look today. Because of this confinement today that no one go out because of the corona, I mean, a lot of people have problems of parnasa. I mean, can you imagine people that have a lot of business and big business? There is a friend that I know in Mexico. I'm not allowed to tell his name. He has a big business. He has 9,000 workers, and the Mexican government, they don't pay them. He has to pay them. I mean, can you imagine, poor man, he has to pay 9,000 people already 2 months that he paid them. They don't work. He doesn't work. I mean, can you imagine all his economy is going to go just like all this kind of expensive. I mean, can you imagine all that food that he has? I mean, it's incredible. And there was no kind of insurance to insure all this. I mean, it's terrible. Just imagine people that had big business a few thousand years ago, and they had to stop, to postpone everything during 5 weeks. My friend, there is no answer for this question, but the only answer there is Schar ve'alma lika. In this world, you can do any kind of mitzvot you want. Don't expect that Hashem will give you a reward. In this world, there is no price for the mitzvah that you do. So just do as Hashem He asks you to do. Because Hashem will not give you a mitzvah if Hashem knows that you cannot do it. It's impossible. Hashem will not give you. Like when Hashem tests somebody, He cannot test somebody if Hashem knows that somebody, he cannot resist that kind of test. Because that man, he would say to Hashem, He tested me with something that I couldn't resist. Hashem, you know I am a man. But Hashem, He can show to the man with proof, look what you did in your life. If you did that on your life, so the test that I give you, you could stand it. But you didn't want to stand it. Because HaKadosh Baruch Hu knows the man. Exactly because He made it. He made the man, so He knows. All the mitzvot that Hashem gave to us, He will not give us mitzvot that He knows that we cannot respect them, that we cannot do them. He knows that we can't do. Well, like Abraham Avinu. Can you imagine Abraham, the kind of test that Hashem tested to Abraham? Take your son and sacrifice him. Just imagine that Hashem will tell us today, He will tell me, do that. I don't know if I can do it. I don't know if I can do it. It's impossible. I don't know. I don't think I can do it. Can you imagine? He tell me, take your son Raphael, or he take your son Moshe, and sacrifice him. I mean, I think I will tell to Hashem, I don't know. Don't ask me anything you want, but don't that. But I may tell him, I'm not Abraham. But my friend, you have to know something. There is a lot of kind of tests that there is sacrifice there. Hashem will not tell you, take your son, sacrifice it. But He will give you another test that is similar. He will give you a test on Shabbat, or a test like this one. Hey, come on Pesach, come to see me in Yerushalayim, and then 7 weeks later, come again. Wow, how can you do that? If you want, you can. It's a big sacrifice, but this is the way how Hashem, He tests people, how much they love Him. If Hashem tests you and you say, why? So that means that you are very weak. Hashem, He don't want to deal with people that they are weak. Hashem, He knows us. He gives us mitzvot to train us to love Him. It's a training. It's like a boxer. To box a heavyweight, he must train. He must train himself. And the more he trains himself, he will have confidence to fight this big fighter. We have a big fight with the Yetzer Hara. He's the big fighter. So Hashem, He gives us some training, how to train ourselves to fight this Yetzer Hara. That the Yetzer Hara wants to stop you, not to love Hashem. He wants to stop you, not to respect Torah and mitzvot. So Hashem, He train us. When you love Hashem, there is no, I am tired. What about business? What about this? What about this? What about? There is nothing about. Or what you know, you will get something from Hashem, but not now. For now, just do. Later, between you and me, after 120 years, what there is to do there? No one knows. Up there, no one been there. No one. There is no ticket return. There is only one way. After 120 years, there is only one way. There is no go and return. So there is nobody knows what's going on there. There is only one way after 120 years. There you will find out. But for the moment Hashem, He said, well, you come to see me on Pesach, do the sacrifice of Pesach in Yerushalayim. I want to see you there. All Jewish people, they used to go to the regel, they used to go walking or by donkey or by horses, traveling to Yerushalayim. And then they used to see the Kohanim, the Beit HaMikdash. There were 10 miracles in the Beit HaMikdash. The people, they were happy, very happy, knowing that after Pesach, they have to go home. And after 2 weeks staying home, they have to come back again to Yerushalayim with the sacrifice. And they have to count days. From the day they arrive to Yerushalayim, on Pesach, the second day of Pesach, they start counting days when they're going to come back again to Yerushalayim. And they used to do this with happiness, with joy. It's a big test, but it was worth it. I do what Hashem tells me to do. I don't care about the trip, about the long trip, about the being tired, children, family, business. Who's going to take care of my business? What about the cows? What about all my farm? All the animals that I have there? Who will take care of them? I don't care. Or what I have belongs to Hashem. That gives to a man an emunah on Hashem, that even that you are not home, Hashem will take care of your home. You are far away from your home, Hashem take care of your home. Hashem will teach people that life in this life, you came to respect, you came to do what Hashem wants you to do. you don't have nothing left to do. And that you accept everything. Good things, bad things. Everything comes from Hashem. And you have to be, just happy of your life, of the life that Hashem give you. He give you, thank you. He take from you, thank you. Hashem, He can put you on the top of the mountain, and Hashem, He can bring you down to a place that you have nothing. I always think about Gaddafi, the president of Libya, about Saddam Hussein, about the Shah, the emperor, the Shah of Iran. I think about a lot of very, very big people that they were like, they were dictators. They killed people. People were afraid of them. They were billionaires, millionaires. They had palace everywhere. Where are they today? They're all been killed. Look, Hitler. What it was? What happened to him at the end? Look, the Empire of Rome. Look, the Greek. Look, Alexander the Great. Look, all those big people. They are not anymore in this story. What about Titus? With his victory, with all his victory, with the Ark of Victory that they built for him in Rome, the Ark of Titus. Where is he now? He was a big warrior. He won a lot of wars. He was the son of the big emperor of Rome, Aspasianus. Can you imagine? One of the only ark that they are left in Rome is the Ark of Titus. You see there the big victory that he had. The what? He destroyed Jerusalem. He destroyed the Jewish people. He destroyed the Beit HaMikdash. He took the menorah. What? The Ark of Titus, what you see in the Ark? You see there the menorah. That means all the gava of Titus was the menorah. Yes, but Titus, you did a lot of wars. You came victory. You had a lot of victory in a lot of wars that you did. No. For him to knock down the Jewish people without their Torah, with no Beit HaMikdash, that was for him, that was his best victory. Where is he now? When I was in Rome, I saw that ark, and I saw the menorah, and I was looking at the ark, I was laughing. There was a woman from England, English woman. She told me, I'm sorry. I looked at her. I said, you're sorry? Sorry for what? I'm sorry for what he did to you. For what he did to your country. For what he did. I said, who? Titus. What he did? Well, what he did, he destroyed the temple, he destroyed Jerusalem, he destroyed Israel. He took you to exile, all the story. Look at me, madam. Do you think I'm in exile? Look at me, I have my beard. Where is it? You ask, sorry, but I would like to ask you, where is Titus now? I don't know. Where I am? Where are the Jewish people? Here. So, why you feel sorry for me? You should feel sorry for him, that he doesn't exist anymore. He is only his story, his history, it's just in the papers, where the real story, we are here. Baruch Hashem, what makes us stronger? Because you follow the Torah. This menorah, that it's designed the act of Titus is our best marketing that the Jewish people, the Torah is alive. This is a beautiful marketing. Titus thought that what he did when he gave the order to put the menorah and the ark, he thought to show the world that the menorah is off, the light of the menorah is off, the Jewish people are off, finished. The Jewish people are off. And the Vive, life to Rome. Well, it's the contrary. Rome, the Empire of Rome failed. Titus, we don't know where he is. And this menorah is the marketing to show the whole world the Torah is alive. The menorah is still on. Each Jew has his menorah. Why? Because we light it every day with the Torah, with the prayer, with the tzedakah, with the chesed, with ma'asim tovim. All this because of the training that Hashem trained the Jewish people. How to do mitzvot. How to do sacrifice. Hashem will not ask us to do sacrifice, to take our children, to sacrifice them. No. Hashem, He wants us to do sacrifice and stay alive, not to do sacrifice and die. No. Hashem give us mitzvot. Each mitzvah is a sacrifice when you do it well. You do a mitzvah and you do it well, that mitzvah will show you the way to do another mitzvah very well. The most important is whatever you do, it should be well, nice. And don't ask why. You ask why, so that means you have a doubt. When Hashem said to the Jews, do you want the Torah? They didn't tell Hashem, what kind of Torah you want to give us? Right away they said, Na'aseh v'nishma, Hashem, we do, we are willing to do. Yes, Hashem, thank you. Na'aseh v'nishma. Usually you listen, and then you say yes or no. But the Jewish people, they didn't say, we listen, they said, Na'aseh, we do. Why? Because they know who is Hashem, that Hashem, He will not give them something that they cannot do. Because they saw what Hashem did for them in Egypt. They had so much confidence in Him that He cannot give them something to die by doing it. So the Jewish people, after all they saw in Egypt, the miracles, Pharaoh, that he was so arrogant, and at the end he said, who is like you, Hashem? When they cross the sea, the food comes from the Shamayim, water, there is everything. Hashem protect them. In the desert, they went to the desert without food, without nothing. And Hashem thanks them. Hashem tells them, oh Jew, you are Mamlechet Kohanim v'Goy Kadosh, you are the best. You are my kingdom. You are my Kohanim. A Kohen is a servant. You are my ministers. You are my life. As I live, you will live. You are my diamond. I'm Segula. I am holy, you are holy. ואתם תהיו ממלכת כהנים וגוי קדוש. You will be, should be, my people, my ministers, my kings, my kingdom, and a holy nation. But how can we be a holy nation, a kingdom of Hashem? ואתם, if all of us are together. ואתם. Ve'atem. Atem is the same word of emet. Atem, emet. Ve'atem, it's vav. Vav is 6. when you receive the Torah, the 6 of Sivan, the Atem Emet, the same way that the Torah, it's Emet, Moshe Emet, v'Torato Emet. So when you receive the Torah, that we name it Emet, the Torah that I will give you, the 6 of Sivan, so when you will accept it, you will become my kingdom, my chosen people. You will become, all my love will be to you. And the Jewish people, they love so much Hashem. They followed Hashem in the desert. And Hashem, he told them, I don't believe it. I can't believe that you came after me to the desert with no food, with nothing. Millions of people, children. You didn't ask yourself, what we're going to eat? You take with you no food. No food, nothing. The Jewish people, after all what they saw about Hashem, they went blind after Him. So, knowing that Jewish people, knowing Hashem is the best, so they understood that Hashem he will not give them something that they cannot stand it. So they said, Na'asi v'nishma. So Hashem, he told them, I have to train you. How? I give you to come to see me in Yerushalayim on Pesach, and then on Shavuot. It's too much. No, it's not too much. When you love somebody, Madam, my friends, when a baby cry in the middle of the night, just imagine a family, after a lot of years, had no children, and then Hashem give them a baby, and this baby cry in the night. What do we do? What are they going to do? They will wake up to give him food, to see why he's crying. What about if he cry again? So they will wake up again. What if he cry again? Maybe all night he will not sleep. So the parent will not sleep. Maybe the next day they will not sleep. So they will not sleep. Why? Because they love the baby. They had this baby. They've been waiting for him so long. Now that Hashem gives them this baby, so they can do for him all kinds of sacrifice with happiness, with love. Just imagine. I remember. Now I am a grandfather, but I remember one of my children. It was a very, very, very. He was crying all night, and my wife and me, we had to change sometimes, but sometimes my wife, she couldn't, because all day she was busy with him, and the night she was tired, and me, I was in the yeshiva all day, and the night I want to rest, so okay, I stand up once, twice, but what can I do? I have to help her. It's not her baby too, only, it's my baby too, so I have to help. And then I will stay with him all night, pushing him, singing. And I sing, I put music, and I push, I give him to drink. And then when I started to fall asleep, I start to cry again. Okay, and I wake up again. So in the morning, I'm so tired. I wake up my wife, Madame Viviane, wake up. It's the time. I have to rest at least 1-2 hours. You know what happened? The baby, my son, he gave me a big smile. In one hand, I want to give him, a little smack. You smile. You've been all night. You've been like a king. So bad all night, and now you give me a smile. Then he closed his eyes and he sleep. What about me? But you know what I did? When you see him smiling, automatically, what you do? You take him, you kiss him, you smile at him. It's not his fault. He's a baby. My friend, it's the same. When you love Hashem, with all the tests He can test you, He loves you. It's worth it. He loves you. You have no choice. You have to respect what you do, what He did. Because out of every test that He tests us, there is something of love. At the end, we found out that what Hashem He did it for the best. So we smile at Him. Thank you, Hashem. My friend, Shavuot is so near after Pesach. Today there is no Yerushalayim. Today we do it, but at the time it was very difficult. That's the way how Hashem He trained the Jewish people. He trained them how much they should love Him. He trained them in a way that they should not see any sadness or any tired of doing this, of this is too much. No. He tells them that everything is normal. I would like to finish to tell you that Pesach starts on Pesach. Why there is Pesach? To fight the Chametz, to fight the Tzara. And then, on Pesach we start to count for Matan Torah, the Omer for Matan Torah. So, from when every day, we count 1 day, 2 days, and we finished on Shavuot Omer. That means that there is a connection between Pesach and Shavuot. Because you start, it's like a train. You have the bottom of the train, you have the last, the end of the train. But it's what, sometimes I saw in Canada, a train, the first wagon, he carry more than 50 to 60 wagons. Can you imagine? Nearly, like a kilometer of wagon. And one day I count them. There were 60 wagons, 60. It's only one train. You count from the beginning till the end, it's only one. We don't call them the trains, it's only one. So that means Pesach and Shavuot, it's only one holiday. You understand me? It's not 2 holidays, because the main Pesach is for Shavuot, because you start to prepare the Matan Torah from Pesach. So from Pesach to Shavuot, it's only, and I saw in one book who said that from Pesach to Shavuot, the days that you have between Pesach and Shavuot, it's like Chol HaMoed. It's like in between. So it's only one. There are not two, because the main reason why we left Egypt was to receive the Torah. So we did not receive the Torah. So still you are in Pesach. It's incredible, mesdames, my friend, Moshe, Yitzhak. It's incredible that on Pesach we don't eat chametz. You understand? And on Shabbat, when we start to do the Omer, we do the Omer with the chametz. How do you understand this? How do you understand this? Pesach, we have to get rid of the chametz, but when we start to count the Omer on Pesach, we have to bring to the Beit HaMikdash the chametz. How do you understand this? It's like Pesach and chametz. It's incredible. We do not understand. And you know what it is the sacrifice of Shavuot? Bread. You have to bring bread. The bread is the symbol of the Torah. I saw that Rabbi Chaim Vital, my grandfather, said, the same way that a man cannot live without food, the neshama cannot live without the Torah. So that's why we bring 2 bread as a present to Hashem on Shavuot, to show to Hashem that Chametz is a fight of the Yetzer Hara. We start fighting the Yetzer Hara on Pesach. But we mention to Hashem how Hashem will fight the Yetzer Hara with the Torah that we're going to receive on Shavuot. Bread. I would like to finish with a beautiful story. And just to tell you what it is, today here in the world, in Israel, and everywhere, well, today that we start the Shabbat, we start to go to synagogues, only 50 people, no more. But things started to, Baruch Hashem, yesterday was no any corona, but corona still here. There's a lot of people still not well in Israel and all over the world. There is a lot of people who pass away. In France, a lot of people, a few thousand Jews died from the corona in France. Even some rabbis, a lot of my friends, they were rabbis, young people, and unfortunately, it's in Morocco as well, in America as well, a lot. And one thing I have to tell you, that today life started to be a little bit normal, but still, I think it's the pressure from the people. The people that don't understand them. They want to go to synagogue, they want to work, they want to open the restaurants, they want to open business. I mean, there is too much pressure for the government. It's like they prefer business than life. They prefer to do business and die than, I mean, still, I'm telling you, it's not finished yet. This corona is still here. I mean, that's why all my communication, I advise people, I want people to carry on putting the mask, to carry on to do all the best they can, to be in contact with people. But one thing we've learned from this corona, we learned that to be alone. I mean, on Pesach, can you imagine on Pesach is one of the best holidays that we have. It's a family holiday. And this Pesach we've been alone, with no family, nobody. It was terrible. But Baruch Hashem, we did it. No synagogue, no yeshiva, no Beit Midrash. It's not easy. And during this 2 months and a half that I've been in my house, I missed a lot of nisiot, a lot of I was supposed to travel to Brazil, to Buenos Aires, to Paris, to Europe, and I didn't go nowhere. Why? Because it's dangerous. A lot of, when I was in Paris 1 week before Purim, I promise you, I received people. And some of those people that I received died from the corona. And one of them, he had corona when he was in my office. Half an hour he stayed with me. And he passed away a week later. He did not know that he has corona. Baruch Hashem, that I was not contaminated. And I remember on Shabbat, too. The Shabbat, there were few people that had corona. And they were there. We were mamash proximate who was near me. I didn't give him a hand, but we talked face to face. Baruch Hashem, we saw miracles in this Corona. In this Corona, a lot of people back to Hashem. A lot of people realize how much the woman, she's fantastic. I mean, a lot of people, they did not know. They didn't realize that the woman, the wife, she's a good wife, that she take care of everything, even that she work. Now, between you and me, even me, I started to appreciate my wife more than before, because what I saw, what she's doing for the whole family, she cooked food, she sent to everybody, fixed that, always she did it, but I didn't saw her doing that. And now I saw what she's doing. I started to know more my children than before. And I started to know Hashem more than before. After all, the best is that we don't need this confinement, we don't need Corona, we don't need to suffer. To realize there is Hashem, that He is the boss. So at least it's a message for the after Corona. The message of the after Corona is, don't expect that Hashem pay you in this world, because there is no price for all what you can do as mitzvot toward Hashem. The price is later. There is no way to get a price. Hashem will give you life, it's enough. He give you parnasa, it's enough. Hashem will give you only a small percentage to keep on going and to support Torah and mitzvot. So Be'ezat Hashem, I wish and I pray for you that Hashem give you bracha v'etzlacha, briut, Costa Rica, all the Jewish community, and to you, you, Be'ezat Hashem, should be well, and God bless you.
אדוני ישמור לך מכל רע, ישמור את נפשך, אדוני ישמור צאתך ובואך, מעתה